Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Ananda Januar Rozak. In today's chance, I'm gonna presenting my part of chapter 6. That is the first 11 slides. To make things simple, let's get to the point. The first slide is the structure, which is a strategic perspective of ISIT that includes corporate business, strategy, and ISIT implication. The other one is establishing ISIT strategy process, and then we have determine the IS strategy, which includes aligning ISIT with business strategy, business innovation with ISIT, search for competitive opportunity to shape strategy, managing the app portfolio, justifying and managing ISIT investment. Last one is the key ideas and the future of ISIT strategy, which is in part organizing strategic management of ISIT, strategic management of IT services, service and infrastructure. Alright, the next slide is the session objective. The session objectives are to understand the strategic perspective of ISIT investment, to understand the various techniques commonly used to analyze opportunities provided by ISIT to get strategic advantage. That is competitive forces analysis, value chain analysis, business life cycle analysis, and strategic options generator. The next one is agenda, and they are achieving and sustaining advantages across the value disciplines, exploring new value propositions, informating products and services, analysis, analysis of competitive forces to identify ISIT opportunities and threats, value chain analysis, customer lifecycle management and the value chain, from value chain to value network, the internal value chain, and the last one is the uses of value chain analysis. And this is the ISIT strategy formulation and planning process, the framework. The framework here is business and technical environments get into the squared bubble of initiating the strategy process, and then the strategy process goes into understand the current situation and interpret business needs, which is going to be to define or update information and system structure, system architecture, and to determine business as strategy. Keep in mind that define and update information and system architecture goes back also to understand the current situation and interpret business needs. And the fourth one of the square bubble is to determine business as strategy to formulate, from determine to formulate, and then last one is prepare migration plans and business care. and the rest is the rest is also a process of the formulation, which includes previous IAS IT strategy, business strategy, and the proposed development program, ISIT strategy and proposed plans and other planning activities, etc. etc. Next slide, which is which is developing the ISIT investment portfolio from strategic perspective. If we read the table, we can assume that IT enabled business re-engineering, competitive pressures, product and service innovation, market and supply chain opportunities, industry changes, goes into strategic and goes back to their respective counterparts. The strategic investment portfolio is investments in ISIT applications which are critical to sustain future business strategy, which goes to high potential investment in ISIT applications, which may be important in achieving future success, and to key operational investment in ISIT application on which the organization currently depending on success. The rest is for investments in ISIT application which are valuable but not critical to success. The focus is on evaluating strategic potential of innovative ideas. The techniques are likely also suggest other high potential possibilities. The techniques also help assess the readiness of key operational applications as the basis of the future development. That is the next slide. Achieving and sustaining advantages across the value disciplines. Here we can see that the chart, the graph is in core is survival. That includes customer intimacy, product leadership, and operational excellence, which is explained as strategic investment should relate readily to dimension in which the organization seeks to excel in the next 1 to 3 years. As example, product leadership, customer intimacy, or operational excellence that have mentioned before, with the objectives of gaining advantage in the marketplace. The next one is key operational investments. Improvements are essential in any dimension if the systems are causing performance level to fall below this essential to success. For example, are causing disadvantage. The last one is high potential projects. Would normally be prototypes related to specific strategic developments or evaluations of ideas in any of dimensions. For example, early tentative steps in finding out how ISIT might provide future opportunities, exploring new value propositions, informating products and services, informating existing products, e.g., smart, connected products, driverless cars, and informating existing services, e.g., car insurance, pay how you drive, and the last but not the least is informating to improve product availability and or reliability in use, e.g. cloud service, as opposed to servers and data centers. And this is analysis of competitive forces to identify IS opportunities and threats. The threats of new entrants are: how can ISIT build barriers of entry, and how will new entrants based on ISITs enter the industry? The next is bargaining power of buyers. How can ISIT build in a switching cost change customer relationship? How will ISIT increase the power of buyers? And rivalry amongst existing competitors. How can or will ISIT change the basics of competition? And on the part of bargaining power of suppliers is how can ISIT change the balance of power and relationship with suppliers? The last one is the threat of substitute products or services. How can or will ISIT generate new product or services? The next one is value chain analysis. Michael Porter said, every firm is a collection of activities that are performed to design, produce, market, deliver, and support its products or services. All these activities can be represented using a value chain. Value chains can only be understood in the context of the business unit. The value chain of the business unit is only one part of the larger set of value-adding activities in an industry, the industry of value chain or value system. For an organization to identify the overall implication of e-commerce for its business in terms of opportunities and threats, the information flowing through the industry, the external value chain, needs to be analyzed before the information processes can be optimized inside the business by considering the internal value chain. The overall performance of the industry in terms of its ability to maximize its value added and minimize its costs is primarily dependent on how well demand and supply information are matched at all stages of the industry. And it can be used in any industry since every industry uses funds, incurs costs, and uses resources to deliver services of some sort of to consumers. The next one is external value chain, industry value chain or value system. The next is suppliers. This is the graph of the industry value chains. Suppliers, raw materials, and capital goods go to agencies and distributors, and it goes to business unit, and direct suppliers, component, labor, services also go to business unit and competitors. Then after that, the business units goes to local distribution channels and export distribution channels. Or if direct channel, they go to immediately go to the market. Also, competitors go to export distribution channels and to direct channel to the market. To the left, if you go to the left, is value and demand information. Go to the left, and cost and supply information go to the right. The question here are, how does the chain add value to the next customers in the chain? And how does the chain add a value to those providing the input? And the next one is the last of my part. Information flows between firms, that is, between suppliers, regulatory bodies, and customers. Suppliers, including sales and service, invoice payments, purchase orders to regulatory bodies, service purchase orders to inbound, and regulatory bodies outbound to the distributors. And regulatory bodies invoices, payments, sales orders, and technical queries goes to customers. Which is the last part. I think that's all that I can present. That's all my capabilities. I hope I didn't make any mistakes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Perkenalkan, nama saya Titin Herawati. Saya dari Sistem Informasi Reguler 5B. Kini saya akan melanjutkan penjelasan dari saudara Ananda Junior. Nah, pada slide ke-11, arus informasi antar perusahaan, yaitu pada ekonomi rantai nilai, pengecer itu menambah nilai bagi pelanggan terutama melalui berbagai barang yang ditawarkan dan akses lokal kepada mereka. Lalu menambah nilai bagi pemasok dengan menyediakan ketersediaan konsumen, berbagi biaya saham, dan administrasi transaksi bernilai rendah. Saat menilai perubahan pada rantai, ini menyiratkan bahwa nilai baru dapat ditambahkan atau nilai tambah dan biaya yang ada akan didistribusikan kembali. Nah, atau biaya penambahan nilai yang sama itu dapat dikurangi sehingga memungkinkan penurunan harga atau peningkatan keuntungan. Lalu pada e-commerce, biaya konsumen berkurang, tetapi biaya dialihkan ke pengiriman rumah, kecuali jika hal ini diimbangi dengan pengurangan biaya lainnya, misalnya kepemilikan saham yang lebih rendah. Lalu peningkatan biaya pasokan akan membutuhkan kenaikan harga yang setara dalam pembayaran untuk pengiriman, atau laba dalam rantai akan berkurang. Nah, pada slide ke-13 itu terdapat sistem informasi dan rantai nilai, yaitu manfaat signifikan dari tautan yang ditingkatkan. Yang pertama itu jelas, intermediasi meningkatkan jumlah perusahaan di mana keuntungan itu dibagi, dan daya tarik disintermediasi adalah yang terjadi sebaliknya. Jika dalam versi rantai nilai yang mencakup perusahaan kami, laba bersih keseluruhan dapat ditingkatkan. Nah, kita dapat mengambil bagian dari peningkatan laba itu karenanya mengungguli pesaing langsung. Jadi, yang bukan bagian dari versi rantai tersebut. Yang pertama itu menciptakan lebih banyak permintaan. Yang kedua ada memenuhi lebih banyak permintaan yang tersedia. Lalu ada yang ketiga mengurangi biaya untuk memenuhi permintaan. Nah, jika kita memulai perubahan tetapi juga berbagi keuntungan dengan pelanggan dan pemasok, yaitu mereka juga menjadi lebih menguntungkan. Lalu, mereka akan lebih memilih untuk berdagang dengan versi industri kita yang lebih efisien. Lalu ada contoh pengurangan biaya antar perusahaan karena pertukaran informasi yang lebih baik. Yang pertama pada administrasi yaitu transmisi elektronik, pesanan dan faktur dan lain-lain itu langsung antara pelanggan dan juga pemasok. Lalu yang kedua itu ada inventaris yaitu berbagi informasi tentang saham dan permintaan untuk menghindari kedua perusahaan membawa saham yang tidak perlu. Lalu pada transportasi dan penyimpanan, itu mengoptimalkan pengiriman untuk memastikan ruang pengangkutan atau penyimpanan itu digunakan secara efektif untuk memenuhi tingkat layanan yang disepakati. Pada pembiayaan, pembayaran elektronik juga untuk meningkatkan arus kas dan mengurangi kebutuhan modal kerja dan mengurangi biaya hutang piutang. Pada jasa, menautkan pemasok layanan pihak ketiga ke permintaan layanan untuk mengurangi penundaan dalam pengiriman dan biaya administrasi. Lalu, bagaimana e-commerce mempengaruhi arus informasi? Yang pertama, transaksi bisnis normal, yaitu faktur, pesanan, pembayaran, dan lain-lain. Nah, ini dapat ditangani oleh perusahaan dengan sebagian besar pelanggan dan pemasoknya yang memiliki komputer, cukup dengan koneksi melalui internet. Nah, yang kedua itu ada e-commerce menawarkan saluran tambahan untuk aliran promosi, tetapi juga memberi pelanggan kemampuan untuk mencari seluruh rantai informasi secara langsung atau melalui perantara, yang menjadi semakin bergantung pada perusahaan untuk menyediakan general toko atau ruang rak elektronik untuk produk atau layanan mereka. Lalu yang ketiga itu e-commerce menawarkan potensi besar untuk mengumpulkan informasi dan intelijen tentang preferensi dan sikap konsumen dan pelanggan secara online daripada melalui riset pasar tradisional. Lalu contoh efek jangka panjang dari pengintegrasian informasi mengalir melalui rantai nilai ini yaitu pada tahun 1982 itu operator tur Inggris Thomson Holidays itu memperkenalkan sistem TOP yang memungkinkan agen perjalanan memesan liburan melalui sistem view data langsung di komputer Thomson. Nah, kemudian Thomson mengembangkan tautan serupa ke pemasok mereka. Kemudian sistem bagaimanapun itu memberikan Thomson keuntungan besar sehingga permintaan turun tiba-tiba seperti yang terjadi pada tahun 1987 Amerika Serikat membom Libya itu dan pada tahun 1991.